Coming to you direct from Silencer Shop Studios, home of the Glass Case of Emotion.
SilencerShop.com, the easiest way to buy silencers online, period.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markel.
All right, it's a brand new week here at Student of the Gun Radio, at least according to my show notes and my calendar, and I think they're right. So let's go ahead and dive right into this week. I promised you, at least the grad program people, last week on Thursday and Friday, there was so much. We had 2 full hours, well, a full hour Thursday, full hour Friday, and we still could not get to all of the topics. It seemed like all at once the news broke or the dam broke and all these things came flooding out. All this ridiculous nonsense was going down in the world. So we're going to try our very best to address some of that today. But before we begin and launch into that, let me allow the rest of the gang to say hello and introduce themselves.
I am Zach the Shipping Ogre, and I'm here with Professor Paul here in the Wyoming studio.
Yes, we are high atop the mountain in the Wyoming studios.
Correct. And who are you, the third person with us?
I am Jarrad Markel. I am the COO at Student of the Gun, and I am in the satellite studio, and I'm flying around the Earth right now.
Really? The satellite studio?
Yep.
Yes, Jarrad's in Salt Lake. Do you have snow on the ground in Salt Lake?
Nope. Sad.
Nope. We have some here.
Do you?
Just a dusting, literally a dusting.
Yeah.
It's very soft.
It was enough to kind of change the color of the lawn. That was it.
I can see snow on the mountaintops, but I don't get any down here.
Oh, yeah. There's a ton of snow up in the mountains. If you go up another 1,000 feet, it's 2 feet deep. But down here in the valley, well, I mean, when you say valley, we're a valley that's 7,000 feet. So, yeah, you know.
We're a valley in comparison.
Yeah, everything's relative. To people who are living in Louisiana or Mississippi, we're not a valley. We're in the mountains. But you know what I'm saying. All right, well, it's a brand new week, but at the very end, well, I guess it was the middle of last week, towards the end, we had already recorded the grad program bonus hours on First Thursday and Friday. And well, actually, it was Thursday that we found out that the last surviving member of the original Motorhead lineup. And you guys know, if you listen to Student of the Gun Radio, you know we like us some Motorhead here. We have used Motorhead as motivational music during our bonus hours in the past, and we've discussed it. We talked about the passing of Lemmy back when he did, and the Fast Eddie Clark, the final surviving member of the original Motorhead lineup, has passed away. And in honor of that, we have some motivational music, and I don't care if YouTube doesn't like it.
If you like to gamble, I'll tell you how you land. You win some, lose some, and do the same to me. The pleasure is to blame. Make no difference what you say. I don't say green. The only card I need is the ace of spades. The ace of spades. Playing for the high road, dancing with the devil, going with the flow. It's all a game to me. 7 or 11, snake eyes watching you. Double up or quit, double strike or split. The ace of spades, the ace of spades. You know I'm going to lose, and gambling's for fools, but that's the way I like it, baby. I don't want to live forever. And don't forget the Joker.
How we doing over there in Salt Lake City, Jarrad?
I'm doing all right.
I'm feeling like I need a weekend.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like I need a weekend. So it's Monday, and what we're going to do, we've got a SWAT Fuel Warrior of the Week, but we have a special guest. We actually have a special guest questioner for this week's Warrior of the Week. Now, if you, yes, you, all you freaks and freakettes out there listening in the wide, wide world, if you would like to hear your own voice on Student of the Gun, if you'd like to leave a question, call 844-207-7684. And, of course, that's also in the show notes. But 844-207-7684. Leave a well-rehearsed question. And if we feel that it is relevant to, well, the Student of the Gun listening audience, we'll choose you. And in addition to the bragging rights of hearing yourself on Student of the Gun, you also will get a free bottle of 9mm plus P energy formula from our friends at SWAT Fuel. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So that's all you have to do. Jarrad, you go ahead and play the music, and then I will intro the question. All right, today's Warrior of the Week question is actually something, the Warrior of the Week is in the studio with me right now. Zachary, yesterday we were sitting at the table, and you said that you had a friend who was female.
Correct.
And that they were looking for advice regarding what?
Self-defense in the case of an ex that she might be worried about.
A stalking ex, a crazy ex off their meds. And does this person own a gun?
She has her son's .22 bolt action.
A .22 bolt action rifle. Okay. All right. And this is a petite female?
Correct. She's pretty tiny.
Okay.
She says that her hands are about 2 centimeters larger than her 8-year-old daughter. So
okay.
Very small.
So here we go. This is not at all an untypical or a non-typical question or a strange question. So we have a female person. We have an adult woman who is small of frame. And what was the basic, like, what kind of gun to get, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, okay.
What can she get? And, like, pretty much all that. I've never owned a gun before.
Yeah, exactly. I've never owned a gun. What should I buy? And so on and so forth. And I wanted to address this today because it's not at all an uncommon question. And if you are a gun person, Zachary, you got asked this question by this person because they know that you are a gun person, right?
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. So the people in your life, friends, neighbors, relatives, whatever, coworkers, you get the rep as the gun guy at your work or what have you, or your church or your school or whatever. And people come up to you and they're like, hey, this is what's going on and I need to buy a gun. What should I get? And you think, well, that's an easy question. Just tell them to go buy a blankety blank. Tell them to go to the store and buy this gun. It's not really that easy. You could do that. I mean, that's the simple answer is like, what you need to do is you need to go and buy an XYZ 123 9mm and all your problems are solved. But the fact of the matter is, folks, what do we know? We know that going out and buying a gun is only one small part of the overall equation. If you are legitimately in fear that an ex-spouse, ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, ex-person is going to come stalk you, harm you, or whatever, you need to do more than just buy a gun. Especially if you don't have any familiarity or training with them. And so the advice that I would give to you is, number one, the person who's going to be buying the gun needs to buy it, that you need to make that purchase, hopefully, with some type of education, some information. You need to get some information first. Unfortunately, sadly, what I know is that the vast majority of people who are in this situation, what they will do is they will walk into a gun store and they'll say, hi, I need to buy a gun. Okay, what kind of gun do you want to buy? I don't know. What do you want it for? For self-defense because of my crazy ex. Okay. And so if it's a typical situation, and I've seen this, I've witnessed this firsthand on more than one occasion. If the salesman is a commission salesman, then what he's going to do is he's going to walk her over to what is the most expensive thing that he thinks he can get, that he can sell her, right? He's going to walk her over to the $569 Smith & Wesson stainless J-frame, right? Because he gets a really good commission off that. He doesn't get a good commission off of a High Point C9. You know, he makes $20 on that gun sale. He'll make $100 on the other gun sale. So which way is he going to steer her? And I know I just went High Point C9 to Smith & Wesson J-frame with nothing in between. And all you guys out there are screaming, you're like, no, she should buy my favorite brand of gun. Well, actually, that's not it at all. What she needs to do, and what any woman in that situation needs to do, is they first need to get some information. Information is really simple because it's kind of what we do here. We did this thing called the Arm Living DVD, right? And you can go online, you can go to studentofthegungear.com and boom, look at it, order it, read it, and then when you come out on the other end, you might have a little bit more information. And the truth is, and folks, there may be people who will watch the Arm Living DVD and I hit them with the reality of what it entails to use deadly force. And they say, you know what? I changed my mind. I don't want that kind of responsibility in my life. I don't even want to own a gun. Okay, great. That's fantastic. Because the worst thing you can do is get a gun and think that you're going to bluff the bad guy. All right? You're not going to bluff the bad guy. You're not, I don't even want ammo. I just want to get a gun so I can point it at him. No, that's not how it works. Okay. Jarrad also dropped a link into the show notes today, and this is episode 718, called My First Gun, 5 Simple Steps to Making Your First Gun Purchase a Success. Imagine that. Now, after you do that, then you want to, and whatever it is this person ends up buying, they need to get under the training and tutelage of an instructor, of a coach. They need to get to the range. They need to learn the fundamentals, and then move on from there. So, and of course, there's also other kinds of advice, large dogs, German Shepherds, and so forth like that, deadbolts, alarm systems, and
pit bulls.
Pit bull. I don't know. A pit bull just ate some woman in Louisiana.
Well, isn't that the one where like she left her with her father-in-law and he wasn't?
No, this is a completely different one.
Oh wow.
This was a pet motel. A woman was renting a pet motel, and apparently the dog mauled and killed her. So there's that. So the this week's Warrior of the Week question, and you can see me after the show for your free SWAT Fuel 9mm, Zach. But I wanted to address that because it's funny. Here we are doing what we do, doing our Student of the Gun thing, and sometimes we can influence people positively on a personal level. And I know that question is very, very prevalent. It comes up all the time. And unfortunately, what most, and especially women, and not only women, but most women, what they'll do is they'll say, I need to get a gun. They'll walk into a store that sells guns, and they'll say, I need to buy a gun. And they'll end up with whatever the salesman thinks that they should have. And they may like it, and they may hate it, and they may be stuck with it. And it may hurt, and they may not know how to work it. But it doesn't matter because the salesman already got his commission. Now, I know a lot of you guys work in gun stores are like, I would never do that. I am an honest and upright citizen. I know you are. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about that other guy. Jarrad, the guy behind the counter that says, don't worry about how many rounds the gun holds, because if you can't get it done with the first 2, it's probably not going to get done.
Yep, those people exist.
Yeah, don't worry. The guy who's behind the gun counter that says, it's a felony to drive through a school zone with your concealed carry gun. And if you come to a school zone, even though you have a concealed carry permit, you have to turn around and not drive through the school zone. Yeah, that would be a guy behind on the other side of a gun counter doling out that kind of advice. I've heard some really, in my lifetime, in 30 years, I've heard some really interesting stuff coming from the other side of the gun counter.
Some choice pieces.
Some choice pieces of advice. Yep, like steering a, and I don't mean to bag on Smith & Wesson J-frames, but let's face facts. Most factory J-frames have like a 12.5 to 13 pound double action trigger pull. They have really small grips, and they're abusive for full-sized adult men to shoot, never mind a 98-pound woman. That's probably one of the worst pieces of advice that you could ever give to a petite female, is to get a small compact frame double action revolver. Terrible advice, but it still goes on today. All right, so if you open the show notes, you can avail yourself to the article's free, costs you nothing. Open it, share it, do whatever you want to do with it. We're happy to help. Who wants to help you be an armed citizen? Well, that would be Crossbreed Holsters. Yes, they do. They want to help you be an armed citizen, not just occasionally or once in a while, but actually all the time. And the way they do that is by selling you the most comfortable inside of the waistband holster on planet Earth, the highest quality inside of the waistband holster, and that's a Super Tuck Deluxe. But they don't just sell that. They sell other stuff too. As a matter of fact, they have a whole entire catalog of concealed carry gear. And even if you're not going to conceal carry, if you just keep it at home, they got something for you. You know what you can do? Go to crossbreedholsters.com and check them out. Froglube, green, minty fresh, bio-based. That's right. It's a bio-based firearms lubricant that was developed per a request by the United States military to come up with such a thing. So you can check those guys out at froglube.com, or you can get Froglube products from Brownells or your favorite lubrication dealer. Century Arms, the sweetest smelling arms maker in the U.S. of A. And I don't know if you guys pay attention to the firearms online blogosphere community, or the firearms wires or what have you. But this last week, Century is releasing a new gun. They're introducing a new gun at SHOT Show. And you're not supposed to know about it. But somebody leaked the press release. And so it got leaked and it got put up on the firearms wires, the firearms blogs. So the cat's out of the bag. Can't put it back in. You know, Jarrad, once something's on, well, Zachary too, I want to include you as well.
Yep, I'm here. Hi.
Yeah. Once something is on the internet,
never goes away.
That's right. Despite the best efforts of YouTube and Twitter and Facebook to censor you, it's still out there.
Unless it's Homestar Runner.
There you go. Unless it's Homestar Runner.
You have no idea what that is, do you?
It was been completely censored and removed from the internet.
I'll tell you later.
Okay. Any hooser, Century has a brand new gun. It's a 9mm pistol, but it's not your normal 9mm pistol. And it's going to be available, and they're going to announce it at SHOT Show. For all the other stuff, Century Arms related, go to centuryarms.com. Brownells, they are they're the makers of Brownells exclusive gear. And speaking of things, we are going to go to the Shooting, Hunting, and Outdoor Trade Show very soon, within 2 weeks as you hear this. Matter of fact, holy crap balls, Jarrad. Will they
1 week
will a week from the day that this airs, we will be in Las Vegas?
Yep.
Time keeps on slipping.
Yeah, right.
Into the future.
Speaking of which, while we're at SHOT Show, there's a couple things going on. We're going to be doing cigar time at some point in time, probably the early part of the week when we get there. I don't know if we want to announce that here on the radio so people can show up if they want to. Is that something?
Well, I don't know how many people. I don't know how many lists. How many of you guys are actually going to be there for the Shooting, Hunting, and Outdoor Trade Show in Las Vegas?
We have some.
Probably at least one.
Yeah,
at least
one.
At least one of you will be there.
But there is.
I mean, Arturo lives in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
So what's his excuse?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see you there, Arturo. I won't, but.
Well, the reason I brought that up is because I know that Brownells is going to be announcing a new product lineup, but they're going to do it at the show. as far as I know, no one has leaked their press release yet. And we've been invited, and we're going to be there. So we will let you know. And yes, we will try and keep you guys up to date via the social media and so forth. Will we not, Jarrad? Is that the plan, to keep them up to date via the social media and so forth?
Yeah, that is the plan. And hopefully the connection works this year. Because I would like to do some live stuff from the floor, but if the connection doesn't work, then we can't do that.
It's almost impossible because you have something in the neighborhood of like 38,000 people all using the internet at the same time.
Shasho needs to step up their Wi-Fi game.
I don't know if you can step it up that high or not. You'd have to do like a NASA link or something.
I'm about to say NASA has it's like 50 gigabytes up, 50 gigabytes down internet.
What they need to do is they just need to install towers and repeaters all over the floor.
That's actually a good idea. They do have those repeater things, just have like one at every booth.
Or what they could do is they could do the opposite, and they could just completely shut it off. And if you wanted to use it, you'd have to go outside. But anyway.
Either do one of the extremes.
Yeah, one or the other. So Brownells is going to be announcing some new stuff at the Shooting, Hunting, and Outdoor Trade Show. And about a week to a week and a half from now, you're going to hear all about it. But until then, you can go to brownells.com, and you can check those guys out. And save yourself some money, man. They want to help you save money. I guarantee you they do. Now, before I let you guys go, well, I'm not going to let you go, actually. Before I move on to another topic, I want to mention a company who, well, their main mission in life is to help you not have an ugly gun. Okay? And it's
Who would that be?
It's DuraCoat.
Oh.
And they want you to not have an ugly gun because life is too short to have an ugly gun. It just is. So what I want you guys to do is to pop over to lauerweaponry.com and click around to your heart's delight. And maybe while you're there, you can come up with, well, some ideas. They have color patterns. They have camouflage patterns. They have slightly darker black. That's right. You can order yourself a can of slightly darker black, have it shipped right to your very own house, and do it in your garage, your garage. And if you guys are dedicated hardcore student of the gun listeners, well, you know that you can get a student of the gun tattoo. And that's pretty cool. So check those guys out at lauerweaponry.com. All right. We have a quiet time for you today. And I do have some, I've got some recommended reading.
I spy a black pickup truck. Oh, come on. How about something a little easier? Okay. I spy error-free forms, fast ATF processing, a 90-day money-back guarantee, and the largest inventory in the industry. I spy Powered By. That's right. With over 300 Powered By Silencer Shop retailers nationwide, there's always one close by. Is that easy enough for you? Ha! Almost too easy. Demand Powered By. Shop our industry-leading inventory at silencershop.com.
Bum, 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 bum. Well, for this Christmas, I got a belated Christmas present thanks to the incompetency of the United States Postal Service. But, you know, the United States Postal Service, they're not alone in their incompetency. The United Parcel Service has also been incompetent. We are missing a package. We had a package that supposedly was delivered to us while we were here in the building, and, it never showed up. I don't know about you guys, but has this season, this holiday Christmas season, been one of the worst seasons for package deliveries on record? Jarrad, I can't remember a year where the Postal Service errors and the package delivery errors stacked up on top of each other like they did this year.
Yeah. I didn't have any problems, but
we did. Holy crap balls.
I know we a Student of the Gun as a business had problems. Some of our packages didn't get delivered to people, but as far as me receiving packages, I didn't have any issues here.
So we actually, on a personal level, we didn't get a package that was sent to us. And then we sent stuff out that never arrived, and we try and and here's a little thing that they don't tell you at the post office. When they tell you that when they tell you, oh, hey, would you like a tracking number with that? If you give us X money, we'll give you a tracking number. And you think, oh, okay, that's like FedEx or UPS. And that at any point in the time of the day or night, I can put in my tracking number and I can find out exactly where on planet Earth my package is. That doesn't work like that with the Postal Service. We did that. We got a tracking number, and package didn't get delivered. We contacted the post office, and we gave them a tracking number, and they said, oh, yeah, well, says here that it was put into a shipping container in Denver. Okay, where is it now? We don't know. Well, what do you mean you don't know? It's been 2 weeks. Well, last thing we have is it was loaded onto a shipping container in Denver. All right, we'll call Denver and find out where it is. Oh, Denver doesn't pick up their phone. They don't take calls from plebes and peasants. So we're just crap out of luck. Yeah. And this was a box that was worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And you think, okay, well, if I pay them the express freight and they give me a tracking number, they'll be able to, because you guys have all tracked FedEx packages, right? Like it'll say like where exactly it is. It left the depot, it's on the truck, it's here, it's out for delivery, whatever. It tells you exactly. When it's delivered, it says signed for on loading dock by R. Smith, that kind of stuff. Apparently, to the U.S. Postal Service, a tracking number is just a placebo. So this package that I got with this book in it actually was the second attempt. Do you know that? Do you know that, Jarrad? This book was supposed to arrive to me before Christmas, and it never did. And the person who sent it to me said, hey, man, did you ever get that thing? And you never said thanks or anything. I was like, nope. Never got a thing. So they had to go back in and have it resent. And I'm glad that they did, because the book is called General Patton's Principles on Life and Leadership. And we've dropped the Amazon link in here in the show for you guys, so you can pick it up yourself. And I highly recommend that you do. Now, I know there are a lot of Patton books out there. There's a lot of books about Patton's Third Army, about what went on in Europe and so on and so forth during World War II. But what's a little bit unique about this book is it's written by a gentleman who served with Patton, not during the entire campaign across Europe, but before Patton went overseas, during the beginning, the work up to and the training for the Army to actually go overseas and fight. But he worked very closely with General Patton, and he was able to write down some of his principles for life and leadership. And one of the things that he relates in the book is General Patton's, or George Patton's, his opinion about discipline and why we have war and conflict in the world. And I read that and I was like, man, he could have written that. That could have been written yesterday about our current situation in the world today. Instead, he spoke those words over going on 70 years ago. So I want you guys, if you were looking for a good read, it's not super thick. I remember when I tried to read a book about Eisenhower, and it was like 497 pages long. And I'll admit to you that I didn't get past page 130 because it was pretty dry and it was really thick. But this book here only has maybe 150, maybe 200 pages. It's not that thick. It's an easy read, and it's extremely valuable. So for today's quiet time, I want you guys to pick up the book, General Patton's Principles on Life and Leadership. And what we've done, you don't even have to type it in. All you have to do is open today's show notes and go down to the quiet time. Click the Amazon hyperlink, boom, and it can be yours. Easy.
Attention new listeners. We produced a complimentary online training course called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. Get instant access by joining the Student Lounge for free at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of these questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
All right. How many more times is this going to happen before the people of the United States of America, the productive human adults, the people that make the country work, you know, the ones that get up every day and pay way too much in taxes, those people, when are they going to say enough is enough? We're all done with this crap. We're not going to put up with it anymore. This is not the first time that someone in the uniform of a, quote, law enforcement officer has instead become a policy enforcement officer. It's stories like this that make me not want to ever reference or bring up the fact that I used to wear the badge, that for 17 plus years, I wore the uniform of a police officer, went to the police academy. I was an Ohio certified police officer, graduated number 1 academically in my academy. Thank you very much. It makes me, I don't want to say embarrassed, but kind of embarrassed. I hate to use that word because it's kind of a weak word, but in the United States of America today, we got way, way too many policy enforcement officers and not enough law enforcement. You know what we don't have enough of? Cops. Not police officers, not law enforcement officers, not marshals, we don't have enough cops. When I was a young cop, and I wasn't a young cop, I mean, it wasn't that long ago, it was in the early 90s. Police officers in the United States, through the history of the United States, actually, when it came to interacting with the public, understood, or at least they used to understand, that they were supposed to be a part of that community. They weren't just, enforcers sent down from the Capitol. Imagine, if you will, the Hunger Games, and the Capitol sends their armed enforcers. They send their troops out into the communities, into the villages, to enforce the will of their masters, to enforce the will of the Capitol. They're not supposed to be that. They're supposed to be police officers are supposed to be members of the community in which they live. All right, for those of you that haven't seen this story, and we have the original story and we have a follow-up that actually just went down as we're recording this. So according to NBC News and Fox News and every other news outlet, if you go overseas to Europe to like dailymail.com and so forth, they've all picked this up. Louisiana teacher handcuffed and arrested after bringing up brass salary, that'd be the brass being the bosses, at a school board meeting. A Louisiana teacher who spoke out against the superintendent's new contract was handcuffed and arrested during a school board meeting in an incident caught on video. At the Monday, and this is a week ago Monday, at the meeting Monday, Dacia Hargrave brought up the issue of teacher salary and a raise that was included in the new contract for the superintendent, according to members of the Vermilion Parish School. This is in Louisiana. Hargrave is an English teacher at the Rene A. Roast Middle School in Copland, Louisiana, according to the school's website. Board members told NBC News that the meeting was called to vote on whether to approve the new contract for the superintendent, Jerome Payou, and the final version of the contract was approved to include a $30,000 raise for Payou. Video of the incident was posted on local station KATV. A 12-minute version has been uploaded to YouTube. And according to this, it says, I have a serious issue with the superintendent or any person in a position of leadership getting any type of raise. It's like a slap in the face to the teachers, cafeteria workers, and other support staff, Hargrave had said in the video. So here's the thing. So they tell her, you're out of order. You're not allowed to speak. You have not been recognized, right? You have not been recognized. The board has not recognized you to speak. And so here comes a parish marshal or something. He's some kind of guy in a police uniform, tells her to shut up. And the people in the audience are saying, no, she was recognized. No, she was. She can talk. So he says, no, get out. Get out. So she walks out, right? So you think, okay, well, that's the end of it. This woman is so, I mean, her presence here is so disturbing to order that she has to be removed from the meeting, right? So they take her out in the hallway, and then the next thing you know, one of her friends or whatever walks out with a cell phone video. She's down on the ground, and Deputy Dog is handcuffing her. What? And he's yelling, stop resisting. Bros, I didn't know that. You know, no one taught me that, Jarrad. I guess I didn't learn that in the police academy, that as long as you yell stop resisting, you can do anything you want. I guess you can take a 5'3" woman teacher and you can muscle her to the ground and handcuff her as long as you yell stop resisting. Resisting what? Why is she being arrested? For speaking out? For talking with her master? So the school board and the superintendent are the masters, and everyone out in the audience are the peasant slaves. And the peasant slaves will only speak when the master gives them, tells them it's okay. And if you speak out, if you raise your voice in dissent, you will be arrested. Arrested? Like handcuffed? Bros, when I went to the police academy, it was drilled into us that we actually went through constitutional law. And we were educated to the point where we understood that you don't just arrest people arbitrarily. It's a big deal, or at least it used to be a big deal in the United States of America, because in the United States, you're not supposed to be subservient to the will of the state. You're not supposed to be a subject. The state can't just send its policy enforcement officers out and cuff you and stuff you because you disagree with them. So that happened. Most of you probably saw it. It was bullcrap. And I'm calling bullcrap on it. And this isn't the first time this has happened. But we've got another story. And Jarrad, I want you to play the audio in this story. This is a follow-up on January 11th. So it happened 3 days. This is the follow-up 3 days after the original incident. I want you to listen to this news story, and it's from CBS This Morning.
Speaking out about the controversial arrest of one of his teachers. Daisha Hargrave was taken into custody Monday after questioning the superintendent's pay raise at a board meeting. The former Teacher of the Year was booked but will not be prosecuted. David Begnaud is in Abbeville, Louisiana, where he spoke to the superintendent. David, good morning.
John, good morning. Here in Magdalen Square later today, there's supposed to be a rally in support of the teacher. Let me tell you, what happened here has angered some folks and embarrassed other people. You know, yesterday we went looking to talk to the superintendent of schools, and you know what we found? A man in tears.
I hated what happened.
Superintendent Jerome Pio says he and his staff are receiving threats ever since the arrest of middle school teacher Daisha Hargrave.
28 years of my life is dedicated to the students of this community. It's so hard to see this negative. It is. It's tough.
The turmoil began at a school board meeting Monday night when Hargrave questioned why the superintendent was slated to get a roughly $30,000 raise.
At the top, That's not where kids learn. It's in the classrooms.
The board president ruled Hargrave out of order as she tried to speak for a second time. A deputy city marshal told her to leave. She complied. Then this happened.
What are you doing? Don't.
She was forcibly arrested outside in the hall.
I'm appalled at this, and you should be too.
Hargrave released a video yesterday saying she hopes people aren't afraid to speak out after seeing what happened to her.
I was always taught that what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And when you see something, you should say it's wrong.
P.O.'s new contract bumps his yearly salary from $110,000 to roughly $140,000.
All right, I'm not going to belabor that point, but here's the deal. Number one, fornicate this guy. Did you see what he just did? He turned on the tears, and he played the victim card. So he feels terrible now. Oh, do you feel terrible? You feel so terrible because why? Well, because people have been threatening me and my staff, and we've gotten angry letters and angry phone calls, and they won't talk to me at the IHOP. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm a politician. I'm going to turn on the tears, and I'm going to play the victim card. So now the superintendent, he's being threatened, and people are saying mean things to him. Oh, are you the victim now? Hey, Jack. Oh, I can't say it. Can I say? If I make it a compound word, can I say it?
No.
I can't even say it if I make it a compound word.
How about off? Is off okay?
Hey, Jackhole. I can say Jackhole because Marty says it all the time, and he's got a family-friendly rating.
Yeah.
Hey, Jackhole. Where were you when all this was going down? Where were you? Where was your regret when all this was going down? And this teacher's absolutely right. People need to stand up. Here's the sad thing is when you watch this video, there's all kinds of people sitting there in the gallery, right? All kinds of adult humans are sitting there in the gallery. There's adult men on the board. There's adult men in the audience, and not one of these adult men stood up and said, oh, no, this is not going to happen. You're like, well, what do you mean, Paul? Are you trying to tell me that you're advising that adult men stand up? But this guy's a policeman. He has the authority to do anything he wants to anyone he wants at any time he wants. You can't question them. Oh, is that the country we live in now? We have policy enforcement officers who you just walk up to you like, hey, I don't like the way you look. Turn around. Put your hands behind your back. You spoke out against His Majesty. Turn around. Put your hands behind your back. Stop resisting. That's the country we want to live in, huh? We want to live in a country where you can go to a board meeting, and if you exceed your 1 minute allotted time, or you speak your mind or speak out, that they don't just ask you to leave. No, they're gonna cuff you and stuff you. They're going to deprive you of your liberty and take you from where you were found to another place. Really? So what's the lesson here? Well, unless we nut up as a nation and decide, no, school boards are not our kings. The school boards are not our masters. And let me tell you what, listen to me. I'm going to say this before I go off the air. I'm going to back away from the microphone because I know my voice is getting loud. If you're wearing the uniform, I wore the uniform for a long time. I know of which I speak. And you're allowing yourself to be used as a policy enforcement officer. You're allowing yourself to be used as a strong arm for some bullies on some school board or some city council or some county commissioner's board. If you're standing there and you're allowing yourself to be used as a thug to enforce their policies, you're wrong. You're wrong, and you're part of the problem. And don't give me some bull crap about, it's just my job. I got to do it. I got to put these people on the train. It needs to be at the camp before sundown. All you people get on the train. It's just my job. No excuses. No excuses. I'm going to leave you with that. America, it's time to take back your schools, your local school boards. It's time to take them back. Either that or get out. Just remove yourself from that situation completely. Or you can do nothing. You can sit on your hands while elementary school teachers are pushed to the floor and handcuffed for speaking out of turn. You can do that too. That's the world that we live in. All right, that's it. That's all I've got for you guys today. We'll be back on Wednesday with yet more Student of the Gun. Until that time, please remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.